The award season is a great time of the year, and it's very exciting. You get to see all these movies, and there seems to be like this huge concentration of wonderful films suddenly available.
I try to see as many movies as possible in theaters.
The notion of voting really did change some of the way I look at films.
I honestly feel that if you're going to vote on something, you need to be as informed as you can, and you need to understand what the field is. You understand what all the options could be, and not just vote on one that you like because you've seen it.
You have to push aside all your special affinities and affections for people you know, people you like.
It's something that you want to give every movie its shot. You don't want to be glib about it. You know how important it is. And it's a real highlight of the year.
And I just will make my decisions based on the work. I won't put a film in thinking I'm going to sit and judge this film and fold my arms.
I'll look at them in terms of what I think the achievement was, what they were trying to do in relationship to what was achieved.
I'll respond to the same thing that I've always responded to in watching films, which is hopefully while I was watching it, did it make me forget I was watching a movie? Did it make me forget that this world is really not real? Did it draw me in, and what was my gut reaction when it was over?
I think a lot of people think you just sit down and vote for all your friends.
I think the worst thing is when you don't vote for a friend, and then you kind of hope they don't find out.
In the Academy, each branch of the Academy nominates people within that branch. In other words, the cinematographers will nominate the cinematography award, and editors will nominate the editors, and so forth. So really the nominations are a representation of what other members of the Academy who do the same thing think about it.
When I'm voting for a visual effects award, I'm thinking very much about the craft and what the contribution of the visual effects have been to that film and how they're moving the craft forward technologically and creatively. But in the other categories, when I get to vote for them, I get to be much more a filmmaker and just appreciate the art of the film.
When I vote for my branch, I usually look very thoroughly mostly about costumes. Does it fit the character? What's the colors? Does it fit the background? Is it harmonious among all these characters? And when I vote, I think the second round to vote, I'm looking more of the story, what's the most entertaining, the overall look of the film.
The truth is, I've been lucky to get nominated a fair number of times and won a fair number of times. It never gets easier. People always ask, well, you must be old hand if you're lucky enough to win. You must be able to just run up there and make a smooth speech, or you must not have flop sweat sitting in the theater. And it's been exactly as hard. Honestly, at every Academy Award, I hate to admit this, but at the very last nanosecond, I think, lose.
I was nominated for an Academy Award, and I never was so scared in my life. It was about 7 weeks between the announcements of the nomination and the ceremony, and it was the most terrifying time I ever lived through.
I've sat in that row 2 or 3 times looking at people making speeches, thinking, oh my God, am I going to be next? It's scary. I'm not good at that. I can address a unit with God knows how many people. It's worse than doing a speech at a wedding.
Nothing can prepare you to speak on TV in front of 1 billion people and 4,000, Hollywood bigwigs.
Winning an award is great, but being nominated also is a very, very special achievement. It's an award unto itself. And that is something, forever in my career will be one of the things that I'm most proud of is being nominated for that award, for the Best Original Screenplay Oscar for Toy Story.
Well, watching the Oscars, since I was a kid, it was always the unpredictability of it. You never really, as much as you thought you know who was going to win, you really never knew.
It's a shared memory for a big part of our society, in fact, the Oscars. And whether you're a celebrity or somebody who's actually an Oscar winner, or whether you're somebody who just happens to like movies, you really have that in common, and the fun of sort of watching who's going to win and what's going to happen and reminiscing what did happen is pretty fun, pretty exciting.